The last hour, we spoke to a guest at the University of Nottingham, and he told me that while Edouard Philippe was the manager, Emmanuel Macron is the reformer, and this is why they butted heads. Is Jean Castex more aligned with the French president in terms of what he wants to do for France?
Well, I'm not that sure that Edouard Philippe and Emmanuel Macron butted heads, and this is why they parted ways. Actually, Jean Castex is very similar to Edouard Philippe. They both hailed from the Conservative Party, Les Républicains. Jean Castex worked for the previous Conservative President Nicolas Sarkozy. He worked with Emmanuel Macron as Mr. Deconfinement, and this is probably where he impressed upon Emmanuel Macron because he's known as a manager, as someone who makes things happen, as a doer, and he's unknown to a vast majority of the French people. He's the mayor of a small town in southwestern France. He's not a politician, as you would define one. Obviously, the day you become prime minister, you become a politician. But clearly, he is seen by many observers as someone who would essentially execute what Emmanuel Macron will decide, and that Emmanuel Macron probably felt that it was more difficult to impose his will on Edouard Philippe, who had gotten much more popular because of his handling of the coronavirus crisis. But clearly, appointing Jean Castex is not a sign that you're willing to change things as Emmanuel Macron promised he would.
Now, we had municipal elections take place last weekend where the Greens did really well in certain towns, in big cities actually. Will the environment be a big priority for this next government?
That's the assumption. That's what Jean Castex in his first declaration said. However, if you don't appoint a powerful, well-known minister in charge, there will always be this question, do you really want to do it, or is Emmanuel Macron going to be the one handling this? He met with a commission of citizens that came up with 150 proposals. He endorsed 146 of them, but will it happen? And so clearly, whether there'll be either a powerful minister or at least a powerful ministry in charge of the environment will be very important to see if indeed Emmanuel Macron wants to change tack, or if he merely wants to continue to manage the economy as best as he can, because obviously the month ahead will be very, very difficult. He'll have very, very little time to turn the ship around and make sure he gets a shot at re-election in 2022, because clearly that's the key objective for him now.
Indeed, because we have a lot to deal with following the lockdown. Thank you very much for that, Marc Perelman there.